Hello, fellow Moparians. This is Bob Donaldson. We are here today with Lowell Nixon,
Howdy
and
do.
we're looking at his 1947 Dodge pickup. And I've asked Lowell to show us the truck and tell us a little bit about it. Lowell, where did you get this truck, and tell us a little bit about it?
Well, I got this truck when I lived in San Antonio back in, I lived there from 91 to 2001. But I found this truck from a friend that worked in the shops at Kelly, and it belonged to his dad. And he was going to restore this, and he took it apart and he passed away. And I bought it from his heirs. The pickup itself was originally sold in San Antonio, and back in those days, the options you had was radio and heater. Well, his dad didn't opt for either one of it. It doesn't have a heater, it doesn't have a radio. So that's the what makes a difference now is that then they used water and radiator instead of coolant. And over the years, sometime it got cold enough in San Antonio to freeze the block. So I have replaced the motor so the numbers don't match like I'd like for them to.
Okay.
But I got it in like 1999.
Okay.
And I retired from the Air Force Base in 2001 and started putting this pickup together. And the first thing I did, of course, was sandblast every piece of it and started from the frame up. And by 2003, I have what we're looking at today.
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
the restoration is like, what, 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's got some alloys on it. It's got some scars from the last 13 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it was a pleasure to make this thing just like it was originally. It's got the original type motor. It's got the original type transmission. It does have two little electric motors for the windshield wiper.
Okay. All right. Well, was it vacuum wipers originally, or was it electric originally?
No, they were originally vacuum, but those old vacuum motors, they get hot and dry down there, and they deteriorate anywhere. Anyway, I had to replace them.
When you step on the accelerator, a lot of times the wipers would almost completely quit working.
Right, it's a lot better.
It's a better deal.
Yeah.
Well, now, why don't we maybe take a look at some of the features of the truck, and maybe what we could do is start by looking at the engine. Lowell, let's take a look at the engine of the pickup. If you'll open the hood, let us take a look.
Okay.
All right.
The engine, of course, it was painted like 20 years or 13 years ago. It is painted the original color. It doesn't look as pretty as it did then because I've been to quite a few shows and it
Okay.
burns it off. But that's what it looked like then, and it's got the original horn, and it's got an alternator instead of this generator.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
but it's got, up here it's got coolant in it instead of water they use down in San Antonio.
Uh-huh.
You can open the
All right,
Yeah.
well, it's got the original carburetor and the oil bath air cleaner just like it was then.
For heaven's sakes, wow.
And,
Yeah.
The basic model didn't have these, I think they call them, I forgot what kind of lights they called them, but
Okay. Uh-huh.
that now is a signal light, but that's the aftermarket.
All right. So those are turn signals now.
Yeah, they're turn signals.
But originally they were not, but they
No,
are now.
they were
Okay.
just-
I see. All right. Okay. Now, how many horsepower does it have? Tell me a little bit about some of this.
Well, it's a 203, I think, cubic inch
Okay.
flathead 6-cylinder engine. It's an engine that Chrysler Corporation used on all of their vehicles from the early 30s, like 36 up until about 53 or 52 before they changed them.
Okay.
So there's a lot of motors like that out there.
Mm-hmm.
And most people nowadays, when they restore one, they like to put a 350 V8 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's original. It's the way it was. It's even the sound, just like it did then.
The carburetor is is that a two-barrel or is it
It's
a single?
It's a single barrel
Okay.
carburetor. It's real easy to work on.
Okay.
And that's what they had then. And you'd have, It's got the original manifold, so I'd
Mhm.
have to replace that if I replaced the carburetor to a different style.
Okay. And say the top speed, this thing will drive comfortably at what speed? 30,
Well, the
35,
RPMs,
45 or 50?
uh, the cruising speed back in those days, like 45 to
Right.
50.
Okay.
Top speed, now I know this because my friend had one when I was a teenager and it'd go 80 miles an hour.
Okay.
But mine's never gone that fast.
I don't know. I want to be in this thing going 80 miles an hour, but it now the horn.
That's the original sound and
okay.
everything. It's the original horn.
Okay. All right.
So
And it is a 6-volt system, a 12-volt system.
it's converted to 12. It was a
okay.
6.
Okay.
But I got a 12-volt system with an alternator now.
Okay. All right.
Now, the motor that I got to replace it with, it's got the valves for a heater, but down at San Antonio, they didn't buy a heater that often.
Okay.
So the hoses wouldn't go anywhere.
My dad had a 50 model Dodge 3/4 ton. His pickup didn't have a heater either. I think you had to buy it extra.
Yeah, it was an option.
So it was an option.
Yeah.
Now I think he had a radio, but he didn't have a heater in it. So I remember some of those cold trips to the lumber yard,
yeah.
taking me
Well,
to school in
yeah.
that old 3/4 ton pickup.
This guy I bought this truck from said his daddy thought that those heaters made you catch cold in the wintertime.
Yeah, I could understand
But
that.
down there, it's not that significant. You know, you can put your jacket on and go. So
Well, let's look at some of
All
the
right.
other features of
I'll
the
put
pickup.
this down right here. And
Okay.
We'll go inside.
All right, sounds good. Lowell, tell us a little bit about the dash now.
Okay. The original gauges are all in there, and some of them were replacement gauges. Never was happy with the heat gauge, so I put my aftermarket gauge on there. The rest of them work fine,
Okay.
and of course the inside, the motors for the wipers are up there. But the thing is, this thing was frame off restoration, and every piece is rid on the underside. It's all painted one piece at a time.
Okay.
So it's got no rust.
Mhm.
And it's got new upholstery, of course. Got new headliner, and it got new door panels and kick panels. And of course, it's got the rubbers new because it's old, it deteriorates.
Now, Lowell, who actually helped you with the restoration? Like, say, who did your upholstery and who did your headliner? Did you hire someone to do that for you?
No, I bought the kits and did it myself.
Okay.
And you can pretty much tell I did this. It doesn't look like a professional job, maybe.
Well, it looks great.
But just the hog rings. You buy the kit and do it yourself.
Okay.
And it's got all the new trim and all the new insulation, everything. I did that too. All these, the kits included everything, the headliner and all the stuff on the sides.
Okay.
So
Now, the way this starts, there is a button above the accelerator pedal. You turn on the ignition switch, and then you step on that pedal, and then engages the starter, and then you hit the accelerator. Is that the way that works?
well, I don't know why they did it that way, but
Okay.
it's a direct shot to an arm that pushes on the starter. There's no solenoid on the starter.
Okay.
It's all mechanical.
For heaven's sakes, wow. Yeah. And it's how many speed? Is it 3-speed, 4-speed?
It's the original transmission, 3-speed.
Okay.
And I bought a new gear shift knob. Well,
Okay.
I couldn't get the old one off, so that's the way it was when I got it.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So
And then it has a manual choke, and then
yeah,
the headlight switch is up near the key.
It's got a choke and a throttle,
Okay.
and it's got a couple of light switches,
Okay. All right.
but it doesn't have a dome light.
Okay.
It didn't come with that.
It didn't come with a dome
No,
light.
no.
All right. Okay. All right. Well,
so-
good deal. Well, let's look at another couple of the features of the truck.
So-
We might take a look at the rear end and the bed.
Well, when I got it, of course, it was all unbolted, and I got it in 4 pieces
Okay.
and didn't have a floor. And of course, they make kits anymore, and I ordered this as a ash, the wood's ash, and it's got stainless steel slats. But my wife did this part of it, and she put about 13 or 14 coats of varnish, or she didn't call it varnish, but anyway, it really made it look pretty, and it's 15 years old, so it's pretty durable too.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks really good.
So, you notice the newer restored pickups, those tailgate chains, they've probably got a bicycle rubber around it.
Okay.
Well, I can remember, I'm old, but they didn't have bicycle rubber. They had it just like that, just chains when they were brand new.
Yeah. The pickup that my dad had, you could hear those chains rattling on the tailgate as you drove. And if you wanted to deaden the sound, you could take an old bicycle inner tube and cut it and slide it on there, and that would keep those things from rattling the way they did. Okay, well, very good. Well, let's take a look at a couple of things maybe on the back.
Okay.
Lowell, let's look at the back end now of this, and if you can, maybe we could lower the tailgate.
Yes. Now, I don't know how, forever probably, you buy a new pickup, it wouldn't have a rear bumper because the people that bought them had their own idea of what kind of tailgate and trailer hitch they wanted.
Okay.
When I got this one, it had a strap that moved from here and it bolted on the fender.
Okay.
That was some kind of a protection idea, but if you ever hit it, it'd be in the fender too, so I took them off. And it took me a while to figure out how to mount that spare tire, but it's mounted the way it was then.
Okay.
And the tailgate, incidentally, is original. That's the first thing that gets damaged on these old pickups, is the tailgate, and this has got some damage that I did to it.
Okay.
And but basically anymore, it gets to haul lawn chairs and tables to go to shows.
Yeah,
That's
it goes light duty. Yeah.
And all of these are stainless steel, which I don't know if they were when they were new or not. All I ever saw was rust colored.
Yeah. Did you say that you could buy these ribs like aftermarket? Can you buy those aftermarket?
Yeah, you can.
That's where you got them, right? Okay.
There's a company in Oklahoma City that sells nationally. They make them. They're either stainless steel. They're all stainless steel, but they're either shiny like this or powder coated.
I see. Okay.
And
all right.
I restored a Model A truck stake bed, and I put black powder coated slats on it.
Okay.
Really looked pretty.
Okay. And now this trailer hitch and the bumper that you did, you made this, didn't you?
No, I didn't. It came with it.
Oh, it came with it. Okay.
I
all right. So this came with the pickup.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I didn't.
But you said a while ago that most, I guess from the factory, they didn't have these. You had to make up your own decision on the bumper, or?
You know, I'm 11 years older than this pickup, and I can remember, I don't ever remember anybody buying a basic pickup with a rear bumper. They either bought a trailer hitch separately, or they already had one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or a lot of them were people that could make their own.
Okay. All right. Lowell, tell me a little bit about the brakes now on the truck.
Well,
it does have drum brakes, right?
Yes, okay. It's got drum brakes. When I got it, it was all torn apart, so it's got all new hydraulic lines, and the hydraulic lines are the rigid steel. And for a non-professional like me, I had to learn to bend those things and still have a usable tube.
Okay.
And of course, it's got all new wheel cylinder kits and new drum pads and everything. The emergency brake is like a lot of them. It's around the transmission. It doesn't even connect. It's manual. But the hydraulic brakes work. It's got a new master cylinder, new back in 2003. And those things, brake fluids tends to find ways to leak over the years when they're just sitting.
Mm-hmm.
So every now and then I have to do some repair on the brakes. But those steel brake lines don't ever leak. They leak at the connections, at the wheel cylinders or inside.
Can you still get drums
Yeah,
for this?
There's several. There's a company I use out of Springfield, Ohio,
Okay.
and I ordered all my parts from that guy. And this is going on, but I wanted it to sound just like it did, and it does now. It sounds just like new. So I bought the exact muffler that it came out with, and the dimensions, the length, and so forth of the tailpipe from the motor back to the back side. So it sounds original. It looks original, and it's about as reliable as they never were. It's completely perfect.
Well, what I can vaguely remember about the one that my dad had, this truck sounds that way, it drives that way,
Yeah.
it shifts that way, and everything else. It's just
Yeah.
a few years newer than this one. That's the only difference.
And
No.
the transmission, I didn't do anything to it. Checked it out, and to me it's good as new.
Okay.
It's got a new clutch and pressure plate, but and a throwout bearing. But the transmission is just like I got it back. And the guy that had it took it off when he restored it. So they last pretty good.
So U-joints and driveline and rear axle and third members all been all overhauled or restored?
Yeah, well, the third member has not. It's original, just
Okay.
like it was. I did put 2 new joints in it, and I had a buddy, and I thought I ought to get the driveline balanced, and he checked it out and said, "No, I don't need it." Now, I can't tell that it needs it, so it's just like it was.
Okay. Okay. Well, very good. Well, listen, I thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to come out and see you and talk about the truck, and we'll look forward to putting this thing on some footage and taking a look at, see what it looks like when we get it edited.
It's my pleasure, and I always like to show it off, of course. And I've done several restorations, but I've sold all of them. But this is the way I learned to restore vehicles, was with this pickup. And my wife thinks I ought to keep it and give it to my kids when I'm not here.